Welcome back, it's Frank, and in this video I want to start things differently. So I'm going to play for you 3 different videos and you're going to tell me what unusual thing these 3 have in common.
This might be the cutest robot to hit the street.
China just developed a cable that will replace...
Esto te puede costar miles en sanciones. Muchos...
Right, I don't know if you guessed it or not, but the people that you see in the videos are not real. They are AI generated avatars. So most of the scripting, the voice, and the avatars all generated by AI. And if you're a founder or running a business and you're trying to grow on social media, this might be the ultimate loophole if done properly. Because if you look closely, these AI news channels actually offer you a blueprint on how you can capture attention in automatic. And I'm putting AI news channels as an example, but you've probably seen other content that's mostly faceless that also does this. So there's a big spectrum, a large spectrum of applications and use cases that these AI avatars have. And in this video, I'm going to clarify why is there an opportunity with this, where can you look for these opportunities, and how. And with the how, I'm going to take you through an overview of one of the systems that I'm building for one of my clients in order to build him an AI news channel. And if you're excited as me for this video, well, let's get straight to it. All right, so first I want to take you through a few key concepts so that you first understand where I'm going through with all of this and understand the importance of it as well. So you've probably heard me mention this before. You're able to build, okay, sure, you're able to develop, but if you're not able to distribute whatever you're building or developing, then you're gonna fall behind. Before, it was sort of acceptable to have a great product and not have to worry about distribution, but now the rules are changing. Now we have opened up an entire new funnel that was not available before with just ads, which is content creation, okay? And if you're able to master this, well, you're gonna be able to master reach to people that are using their phones all the time. So everybody's active on these social media accounts. And for you to have a piece of that attention is really, really valuable. And you could run ads as well on social media platforms such as Instagram, and that's completely acceptable as well, but it doesn't serve the same purpose as posting content. Ads are usually the first thing that the person sees about you. It's usually the first point of touch, first point of contact. Then through ads or through another reel, they're gonna get pushed onto your channel. That channel is going to be used for nurturing that person into a product or service that you have in the background, okay? This is how you can use social media in order to sell a product or service. So let's say you make 4 reels and the user could actually watch one, then watch another one until at some point they are going to be interested on a URL or anything that you can offer. Let's say that you teach about AI news, and maybe the person wants to sign up to a newsletter, given the information that you're sharing with them, right? They might be thinking, well, this is pretty useful. Let me sign up to a newsletter if they have. Well, let's say you have a newsletter. That's when you can take them and convert some people into your newsletter. And this is how short form is currently being used, right? So ads, but most importantly, the content in itself can be done in order to drive people to a product, okay? This is nothing new. This has been happening for ages, but what's new is the ways in which we can create this content over here. And the reason I am emphasizing so much over creating content is because of this visual that you see over here that hasn't left my mind for some time, which is the number of consumers that exist versus the amount of creators. There's a big difference between them, okay? The difference is insanely large, and this grows to the concept of an attention gap. The attention gap essentially states that there's only a small amount of people, which are all these creators, that are able to influence a large amount of people, which are the consumers in this case. So if you're able to form part of this little percentage of people that are constantly creating content, well, you are going to gain a large portion of this audience's attention, okay? So it's really valuable the opportunity that we have at this moment in order to create content in such an easy way, absolutely no cost, and reach to people in order to bring them to our products, right? This was not possible before with only ads, right? But now with the content that we're able to create at such large scale, at 0 costs, only your time, this is something that was not possible before. So if you're able to harness this in some way to be able to create content in an not automated manner, but at least a consistent manner, then you're on the right track to be successful with anything that you sell online. The thing is that you can't create all sorts of products. I mean, you can't create any sorts of content, okay? It has to be aligned with the audience that you're looking for. And that brings to kind of 2 types of social media channels that you can grow, okay? We have here personal brand or a company brand. And I'm not gonna go too deep into these, But personal brand essentially tends to win most of the times, okay? This is because people prefer connecting with a person rather than a company. Okay, this is supposed to be a company building. So now the concept of a personal brand and a founder-led brand is becoming very, very popular at the moment. And you can probably think about a few examples, but the first one that comes out to my mind is Mr. Beast with its brand Feastables, right? He gathered attention in mainly YouTube. Okay, now he's probably spread across all social medias, but he gathered attention across social platforms and then through his personal brand, and then through that, he managed to influence people to buy his product. Okay, in this case, it's a physical product, but to put you a more relatable example with online services or products is this guy called Ron Chung. He runs a very successful Instagram channel, and he exactly does what we're going to explain in this video, which is the AI news channel. So he does that, and on the background, he is selling a newsletter, okay, access to a newsletter, and he's really, really successful, okay? And the only thing he does is share news. So he shares these shorts with him talking about the latest AI news. And this is what I was showing you over here. So if we play this video.
Wheeled robot designed to travel up to 20 miles per hour on roads, bike lanes, and sidewalks while carrying...
Right, that's an AI avatar. So that's what I mean. And yeah, this brings the importance of founder-led content, okay? Personal founder-led content versus just having a faceless brand channel out there, or having at least someone that you can relate to. So there's actually a stat here that I want to show you that shows, well, typical metrics and comparisons between a brand account and a founder account, okay? So you see the engagement rates, comment rate, share rate, and DM rate. So the DM rate is actually 3 times higher. And then we can also see a notable increase in the percentages when a founder steps in, okay? The face of a founder or the presence of a founder actually steps in into the Instagram channel. But this can be Instagram, this can also be TikTok content, YouTube short form, LinkedIn, it doesn't matter. Hi there, just briefly want to stop the video to announce that I have finally launched my community, Neuro Architects, where I plan to bring together the smartest people in this space and business owners that want to build the systems of the future together using artificial intelligence. So inside this community, you'll find everything ranging from all the templates that I will make from the YouTube videos, as well as exclusive community calls, and also so much other stuff. So join right now, stay tuned, and I'll see you inside. So yeah, hopefully now you understand the power of founder-led branding or personal branding in order to connect with your users. But there's a rule here from Google that states that before making a purchase, a consumer typically requires 7 hours of content exposure and typically engages through 11 different touch points and interacts across 4 distinct platforms or locations to build sufficient trust and be ready to buy, which is why sometimes ads are not the entire game. Okay. Now, if you're able to create content on automatic, or you're just able to create a lot of content, even if it's manually, you're adding on those touch points. Okay. By adding that short form content, you are creating those different touch points, because one person can actually watch one short and then they could watch another one, they could watch another one, they could watch another one. So that's adding different touch points. And short form also is available across distinct platforms. I'm not only telling you to only focus on short form, but it's a very valuable asset to have short form content, especially now. And as you can see, as I told you, you can create long form text, short form text. For the avatars, it's basically going to focus on short form video. So let's switch that. Long form video can be done with avatars, but I might leave it for another video. But yeah, so you need to create a lot of content to even have a chance. But who has time to create content consistently, especially if you're running a business on the background? Who likes creating content? I like doing it sometimes, but sometimes I don't feel like I want to, and it's just a matter of discipline. But there's ways to automate it now, depending on what you're doing, and that's what I'm going to show you today. And yeah, who knows, they should, but doesn't. I think we're all guilty of that. So you can see different ways, and yeah, the importance of founder-led content is here as well, because people buy from people, not logos. People are getting more skeptical now, so it's a post-trust era with all this faceless content. And yeah, you're building trust if you show your face, but you need to show consistently. That's the thing. And this is what's going to cost you to make these videos. So in order to hit Google's rule, you need 5 to 7 videos per week minimum. And I'm going to talk about shorts specifically, okay? This can apply in some other ways with different numbers to text-based content and podcasts, but for short form video, it's going to be this. For the video creation process, it will take you around 30 to 60 minutes to record 1 to 2 hours to edit it and to post it, okay? So it is somewhere around 1 to 3 hours per video. Sure, you can delegate the editing, you can delegate the posting as well, but what's hard to delegate, especially if you're a founder-led brand or personal brand, is the recording, okay? Because who's gonna be able to talk the way you do and look the way you do? So in order to delegate as much as possible, you can hire a team, you can do it DIY, but you're gonna post inconsistently or just give up, okay? In order to remove the main bottleneck, which is the recording, you can just clone yourself with AI, which is what I was discussing before. So back then, AI avatars were pretty
In
crap.
today's digital age, AI avatars are revolutionary.
Still really good, but now look at how this video is doing it.
So whenever you think about speaking,
Okay, maybe this is not the best one.
this tiny device called Alter Ego lets you
I prefer this one a bit more because it shows the face.
sidewalks while carrying 30. This might be the cutest robot to hit the street. DoorDash.
So it feels more personal because the guy appears every few seconds and then it shows B-rolls.
This explains why
You can see a majority of it is B-roll, but it's important to show the person. It just brings that closeness, right? You're talking to a person. This guy does it as well, I think.
China just
These are the same examples that I showed you before. But yeah, these are real examples from these channels. We got 3.6 million views, 500K views, 500K views, right? So if you post consistently, there's a very high likelihood that some of them are going to go viral. And what does that mean? Well, all of a sudden, your funnel becomes extremely large and you can push everybody onto a product. Okay, that's all it is, right? Social media content can be treated as a big funnel that when you post content every time, you're just driving a few people into the funnel and then you drive them. Okay, very, very simple concept. But yeah, so we're waiting for these viral videos to pop up and then you can drive insane traffic. There's obviously current challenges. People are, a bit afraid of the fact that these avatars still look a bit fake and they are for certain scenarios. So you gotta know what use cases these are best for. So I like separating it between, the emotional side of the spectrum and the factual side of the spectrum. I believe that AI avatars are still pretty bad at sharing emotions. Okay, so if you're doing anything such as first impressions or storytelling, right? Emotional storytelling, product demos with hands or physical items. I know there's some avatars that are, holding products and all that, but I don't think they're realistic enough yet. And behind the scenes or authentic moments, right? If you're doing any of that, it's gonna be past factual spectrum onto the emotional. And well, anything past that, AI avatars are a bit tricky to use. But then we have the other side of the spectrum, which is the factual stuff, right? Where you can share educational content, explanation tutorials, daily tips and insights, perhaps the news articles, which we're going to talk about today. But the point is that you're sharing purely informational content, right? Pure knowledge that the person can then digest and understand. And this is perfect because AI avatars are not able to show expression deeply, okay? Maybe frowning or especially in the audio. It's not able to be that expressive yet in a safe way. So that's why doing it with, pure information-based ways of sharing information is the best. Because let's say you're about to cry about something that happened to you, well, it's gonna sound too robotic. So as I said, there's this spectrum where, if you go to the right of this, then it's safe to use. Otherwise, not too much, right? There's risk involved because, people might feel that you're turning them down if they realize that you're sharing vulnerable information with an avatar. That makes sense. Another way to make your channel, if you're using AI avatars, a lot more realistic is to mix educational content with real advice videos. So in the meantime, maybe you don't want to delegate all of the videos to an AI avatar, but every now and then you can just show up with a real genuine video, right? So people will realize you're still present in the channel, but you're just allowing the AI avatar to take on certain parts of the sharing of information. And might take some time for people to accommodate themselves with, but it's eventually going to happen, right? If you think about the news, do you really care about the person that is sharing the news with you? Probably not. What you care is about the quality of the information, right? So the AI avatar becomes a proxy for sharing that information in a way that's engaging. So that's how I see these avatars work well. Another one is show up in the stories. So just put a few personal pictures of you, of your house, what you're doing, you're on the bike, and so on and so on. And this, once again, gives that genuine aspect for the channel. Or just show up genuinely in some interactions, like reply to them, send them audios, stuff like that, which can be automated, but there's always good to have some element of authenticity, right? So that the AI avatars don't become the whole thing. That's pretty much about it. And now I'm going to take you through a demo to make you understand how to automate an AI news channel with AI avatars. Let's get to it. All right, so here we have this Airtable base, and this is where we're going to manage and operate most of our system. So we see over here a few tables. The first one is the clients table, where we define the persona and the tone of voice and a few other key points regarding the client. And this is going to help because this is going to help personalize the script that then we're going to share with the AI avatar. So just as an overview, we first need to create the script, which is where we're asking most of the questions for the client, tone of voice, any personal experiences that he can share alongside the main topic of the news or the main topic of the discussion, right? Because you might be making not only news articles, but you might be making authoritative posts talking about your own experience with, I don't know, with traveling, or your own experience with managing forex trading, or whatever it is, right? Most of the time is spent over here, okay, creating a really good script and refining it, and then we create an audio, and then we create an avatar. So we can go ahead and create the avatar straight away, and this could handle the audio, but we're doing it separately because it just helps making more realistic avatars, and I'm going to explain that further on. But this is essentially to create a proper script. We're not going to be using it in this example because what we have done is something slightly different, which is that we are going to scrape. It's kind of a more of a smart method. Okay, we're going to create content on existing content that is already going viral. Okay, so we're essentially here, what we're doing is we're calling Apify, and we are scraping the latest news, okay, based on some channels that we are watching. So we're going to run that manually. Okay, this is the anytime workflow, and I'll be leaving this in the link in the description as well. But essentially what we're doing is, well, this is going to run if it loads, let's have a look. It runs every day. Okay, every day is going to bring us relevant news based on certain channels that we're watching. So we're watching these channels. Shout out to these channels, they're amazing. And yeah, so we are essentially just drawing them across onto Airtable, and we're calculating some viral metrics, some important metrics to understand if those videos are viral or not. Okay, I'm going to go through them because I've calculated them by myself, and it's not available on Apify. We're also filtering for only real videos and videos that are not older than 3 to 6 months, okay? So we're looking at the date and we're filtering based on that. So once we do that, let's go ahead and trigger this schedule node. We're checking for duplicates as well, okay? Make sure we're pulling data that is not duplicates, otherwise we might be making the same avatar videos. And yes, so I'm gonna resume the video once we're around that stage. The stage over here. All right, so we're creating now the records. So let's go ahead and have a look at that, and we see them being created, and they have a varying amount of views, and we can also watch the video URL if you're interested to understand the style. Okay,
There will soon be as many humanoids as humans, and they're actually building a new species. Figure AI just unveiled the latest robot model just 1 month after securing $1 billion in funding from investors.
okay, so I like this news. Let's say I want to look for another style.
Discovered something that could help us finally solve cancer. Because C2S Scale 27B, Google's new biological AI model built on top of Gemma architecture, has found a hidden mechanism that makes
Right, not a big fan. Let's go to Roang. You see, this is the problem as well that you can come up with, which is why it's good to have an Instagram link, is because sometimes you might be getting the shorts that are not relatable, okay? They're not news shorts. They're not videos that you're trying to copy, right? This is an interview that if you turn into a script, it's not gonna work. It's gonna be you explaining a news, and then it's just gonna be a transcript of a podcast. So it just doesn't make sense. So it's good to be able to open these and check them. But let's say that I grab another one.
Being cooled from the inside. Microsoft just introduced a microfluidic system that etches
Okay, let's say I like this one. So I am going to go ahead and generate a script, okay? So once I do this, going to open this, okay, there's a button that's going to send a webhook onto N8N over here. Let me show you. And if you go into executions, you're going to see that something is running. And what's running is the second part of the workflow, which is in charge of generating the draft script. Okay, script that we can then check. So what it's doing right now, it's grabbing the YouTube URL, right? The shorts URL, and it's looking for, well, you see that it completed the transcript over here. And what it's doing, it's looking for the URL of the video. Okay, that video is being stored somewhere in some server on Instagram. The Apify actor finds that URL, we download the video, and then we pass it on to DeepGram, which is going to just get the transcription for us. For now, what we're testing is we're actually grabbing the transcript word by word. We are changing it a bit over here, okay, which is always good. Don't copy transcripts word by word. We are correcting grammar, and we can add also a tone of voice. So have some other things in the prompt here, change it a bit, use original words and stuff like that. But what you can eventually do later on is, if you want to personalize it further, you can add this content research agent, okay, which is going to do some research online on the web, and just going to validate the news or the concept it's being talked about with, any additional points from let's say, other news articles or sources. And we're also adding this over here. So here's the context for this script. We pass the actual transcript, but we're also sharing the client name, tone of voice, mode, business, okay? And you can do a lot of things with this. But this is out of scope. But if you want to see a video on this, on personalizing that script, let me know. But yeah, so we can look at the executions actually, and we can open the following. So if you copy that to the editor, well, that's not oh, there we go. That's the execution that we wanted. We are looking for the URL. So direct URL, blah, blah, blah. And you can see over here that we have, if you scroll down, the video URL, right? This is what we're using. It's a permanent token. I mean, it's a temporary token. So that's why we're not pulling the temporary token here because it has an expiry date. So once we pull the URL of where the video lives, we have to do the transcription straight away. Otherwise, if we wait many hours, then the URL might expire and then we need to, grab another one. So that's why we're doing it in this step and we're not leaving it exposed for us to just click whenever we want in the CRM, in Airtable. But yeah, so we're doing that and then we're creating the transcript that you see over here. So if we open that, you can go ahead and have a look. So this AI chip is being called from the inside. Microsoft just introduced a micro, okay, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And let's say I don't want it to say this. Maybe I'm going to change the start. So AI chip is being cooled in a way that you might not expect. But yeah, the whole point of having this is just a means for you to be able to edit things before being pushed onto the avatar, okay? You might change the script and then let's say we want to generate the audio, okay? And I could send the script directly to HeyGen, but the problem with that is that HeyGen doesn't generate really good audio. And audio is a very crucial aspect of creating a good avatar. So what we have done is that we have delegated the creation of the voice script, right? So creating an audio that reads the exact script. We're delegating that to 11 Labs. And then we're passing that exact same audio from 11 Labs onto HeyGen so that HeyGen can also only handle the lip sync. So here we have an audio. Let's open it and let's have a listen.
This AI chip is being cooled in a way that you might not expect. Microsoft just introduced a microfluidic system that etches tiny channels.
Right, so I think that's pretty good. Let's say you didn't like it for some reason. That's when you can change the script over here and then regenerate it so that you're gonna get a new link. We're storing this in Supabase, and I'll explain now why. So let's actually be more specific with what's happening. We actually have the script, then we're generating the audio with 11 Labs. Okay, that's completely fine. And what we're doing is we're using HeyGen for lip syncing. Okay, so this is essentially what's happening. So script, we generate the audio, and then we're lip syncing the audio with the person. Okay, so the person would appear that it's speaking the script instead of some random garbage that we gave HeyGen at the start. Okay, so obviously you need to give it a reference video. So maybe I can show you on HeyGen. So the first thing that it's going to prompt you to do in HeyGen is to create a new avatar. Okay, so if you create a new avatar, then you're going to have to create your what's called your digital twin, right? So the digital twin is being essentially used as a reference point. So you have your person here, and if you zoom in, well, there's the person, and the person is talking. Okay, it's saying some random stuff that you don't really care about. But essentially what we're doing is we're using this as a base so that we don't need to generate videos from scratch, okay? There's a problem with the generating videos from scratch. They don't look realistic right now. So what we do is we don't create from scratch. We use an already existing face and then we lip sync it. So with the audio, now we're going to be able to create a lip, right? So that's what it is. We create a lip that moves, right? It moves and it speaks what we needed to say. So it would speak the script. And then we are attaching those lips onto here. So we're adding it on top. So now it's going to be talking the script. So over here, what we're doing is we're delegating the audio to 11 Labs and the lip sync will be handled by HeyGen instead of delegating both the audio generation and the lip sync to HeyGen, because I found out that it offers better results if you do it this way. Okay, because as I said, you are creating from my face as a starting point versus creating from scratch. Okay, so you're gonna get a lot of uncertainties from the model. If you do this, you're gonna create something that looks like you, but you're gonna be able to tell it's fake. Okay, so hopefully I didn't repeat myself too much there, but you hopefully understand the difference that I'm doing here. So we are creating the audio, but we have two modes with the HeyGen API. Okay, with the HeyGen API over here, if you use their API, you're going to see that you're allowed two modes. You're allowed text mode in order to create the avatar, or you're able to put it into audio mode. And this relates to what I just discussed over here in the back. So with text mode, you just pass it the script, and then you go ahead, it's gonna go ahead and HeyGen is going to create your entire avatar video. But with audio, you already send it the audio to lip sync it with. So from the audio, you create the avatar, okay? And this means that we have to send the audio to HeyGen, and this audio has to be stored in some database, okay? Some form of storage that is available in public. So we need a URL. So once I create the audio, that's why I'm sending it directly to Supabase, because in Supabase, you can then make it public and call it with a URL. So I'm going to show you that in a sec. So we heard the audio, if I'm right, and I can show you in Supabase where the audio is located. Go to my dashboard, Frank, and it's the UAvatar test. And we're storing it in something called, well, it used to be buckets. Oh, you actually call buckets as well here. And here we're storing all the MP3 files, right? And I'm sure we can find ours, which is this one over here.
This AI creating pathways.
So this generates a URL once it's stored, and if you open it, you see where it takes us, right? It takes us directly to the MP3 file.
This AI chip.
So this is needed in order to create the avatar. So we need that URL. Okay, so let's say we're happy with this, and let's actually go ahead and check this out. So let's go to executions, and we'll see that we have generated the audio. So just for you to understand how it works, let's open that. So I'm grabbing record data, and the way I'm doing this is by attaching this webhook over here, these webhook endpoints, and these are being triggered whenever I press the button over here in Airtable. So all these buttons have, if I edit this field, all these buttons have the webhook URL located, and we're sending specific things. We're sending the record ID, the video URL, and the transcript as well. Okay, so we're doing this for all of them. So whenever I press the button, it's gonna just run this URL formula, and yeah, that's how we're sending stuff to anything. But yeah, once we grab the record data, then we can go ahead and create a file title and create a script for 11 Labs. And the file title is gonna be just to be able to store it somewhere. We gotta have a name with it. Okay, we need a name for the audio file. If you go to Supabase, this is the name that we're gonna give it. We're basically using the transcript to create some random file title that is relevant to the video. And with the script that we extracted here, we're creating the text to speech, okay? Storing the audio with some error handling. And then we're off to the last part. So if you're happy with everything, we are happy with the audio and the script beforehand, then you can go ahead and create the avatar. So I love how we have built all these different touch points, okay? There's always these checkpoints where a human can go in and revise. Okay, I think it's very important. Instead of making the entire flow just start at one point and finish at one point without being able to see the individual components that make it, because with AI you understand that there's always room for error. So as much as you can go in and supervise as a human, the better, the less errors that you're gonna get. Okay, because you might not be happy with some avatars that you make, and I don't want to wait till the end, because that means that I'm going to spend a lot of money, right? The creation of these avatars are not cheap. There's cheaper ways to do it, but we can discuss this in another video. But with HeyGen, you have this issue, which is that it costs a decent amount of money to make these. So, that's why we're splitting it, because regenerating a piece of audio is much cheaper than regenerating the audio and also the avatar, okay? So this is running at the moment. Let's just verify it with the workflow over here. Let's see that we're running. Okay, I'm going to resume the video once this is done. So yeah, the avatar finished generating, and we can see the workflow over here. So let's copy that onto the editor. And the reason I have to copy onto the editor and watch on executions is because my workflow is set to active. For those of you that are new to n8n, okay? Usually you can trigger them to test them out, but I'm not on testing mode. This is actually being used in production. So what you see here is, once again, we're sending information. We are sending the record ID, video URL, transcript, and the audio URL, okay, coming from that Supabase storage that I told you about. And then we're just going ahead and creating the avatar video. So as I said, we're being very specific with the body that we're sending, okay? So we're using the voice audio endpoint, okay? I mean, the voice audio properties, right? Type audio instead of type text. That's what allows us to send an audio URL. And then again, we just, we're updating that it's generating, and then we're going through the HeyGen process until it's done. Once it's done, then we're gonna set it as generated, and we have then the final video. So let's have a watch at the final video.
This AI chip is being cooled in a way that you might not expect. Microsoft just introduced a microfluidic system that etches tiny channels into the back of chips, creating pathways thinner than human hair for cooling liquid.
Right, so you see the quality of the scenario over here, of the video over here, and we're not even using the top model, okay? We're using a base model. You can see how realistic it looks like. And if you see there's little nuisances, okay, little things that you see that makes the AI avatar look fake, well, you're right, they look fake, but that's why we add then the B-rolls and the further editing. So I'm going to show you an extra step that I've added, because what we're doing here is that we are sending it to frame.io because I want to add editors into this system. So the current bottlenecks that there are with the system is in the editing part. The editing part and adding the right B-rolls. Okay, that takes a lot of time. So instead of automating the entire thing, I really suggest that you value scrappy processes. Okay, these are much more important than trying to automate the entire process from scratch. Because when you're trying to prove a concept, which is what I'm trying to do now, you can't just think about automating the entire thing. You don't understand what the process looks like. You don't understand it. You don't understand the little details of the process. So when you do it scrappy, when you just hire editors to do part of the process, when you do the scripting yourself, and then when you're, doing the avatar stuff, that can be automated. But the start and the finish part, especially in this process, is better to be done scrappy, because then you're going to realize little things that are then worth automating later on, okay? Like the editing process. By watching the editors do it, I know exactly now what parts are common in the video editing process, what parts are not, and how it would look like if it's automated. I would only have realized this if I actually have done it the scrappy way, which I have, okay? But that's why I'm keeping the editors here, because the editing process is kind of tricky. So I'm gonna hit generate, and what this is going to do is that it's going to send a task on this platform called frame.io. If you search frame.io, it's a video management platform, okay? I'm using it right now to test this offer, and just gonna open this, and I'm gonna show you a video that's been completed by one of our editors, okay? Just for you to understand what the difference is between me showing you the Heian avatar with no editing, okay, which I think already looks great, but then show you how final edited video looks like. So let's do this one, for example. Let's have a look at the video.
This MIT researcher just solved a 200-year-old problem in art conservation with AI. He figured out a way to restore damaged paintings without permanently altering the original artwork, and it's 65 times faster than traditional methods. Alex Kashkin devised an AI system that analyzes damaged artwork and digital.
Okay, so that's there. Let's check one of the other videos that's currently being processed. So this one, for example, is pretty good.
So scientists just used AI to reverse aging in human cells, and the results are 50 times better than the original Nobel Prize winning method. OpenAI partnered with a longevity startup.
So you see how it goes. And the automation that I just showed you, it's going to put it here. Okay, so you can see actually this is the one. So over here in this platform, then the editors can step in and I can propose to them changes.
This AI chip is being cooled in a way.
Okay, so this is all automated, including the uploading, creating the file name as well. It's all automated. So there's something here on Make, little tiny automation that allows sending information to Frame, because I could have done it on n8n, but then again, it was a bit tricky. I had to call an API that's not working very well, and Make already has the integration with it. So I thought, well, might as well do it a scrappy way, do it in a quick way. Let's just connect to Make, okay? Which brings into the importance of not understanding the tool itself, but understanding the principles, because there might be cases in which you might need to use another tool. And this is one of the cases, right? So if you understand the principles, it's going to be easy to just connect all the pieces together. But just to show you, so in that part of the workflow, okay, this is the one. It's very simple. So I'm searching for the record where the button is being pressed, and then I'm sending the necessary data to a webhook address, which corresponds. Right, so as you can see over here, this is the workflow that I'm running. It's just a webhook and then upload to frame.io. Like, this is not available on n8n, so that's why I did it this way. Doesn't matter. Remember, as long as the process works, then you can refine this later, right? You can refine it onto being a better looking CRM or the automation to be fully in n8n, but that's things that you do once you've proven the concept, once you've done it scrappy, once you've understood all the little things that make the process high quality, okay? Which is what I'm doing now. So that's pretty much the entire process, okay? The way in which you catch, reels that are going to perform well if you grab the transcripts from, to find those viral videos. What you can do over here is just switch for views. So number of views just pops up, Or what you can do is go to the metrics that I discussed before, right? That I custom made. So you have the video duration. Well, that's not the views per hour. Okay, very important. The like rate, the comment rate, and the so like rate and comment rate. These are the ones that I added, and the views per hour. So these are great metrics because these two show you how engaging the video is, okay? How many people are reacting and interacting with it. And this one shows you virally. So if it's high views per hour, it means that it has done well recently, okay? It's getting the views and divided it by amount of time since it was posted. So yeah, so this is virality and these two are engagement. So you need to see both. So what you can do is you can then filter. Well, this is, I think it's a number field, that's why it's doing that. But you can filter it by views per hour. So the highest views per hour first, which means that this is currently a video that is being watched. Okay. So we see that this is an ad. So maybe we don't want to do this. Well, the driver is an ad. Okay, interesting. Okay. So you see, you can get some of these. Researchers, Hokkaido University, proteins and all that. Okay, this looks good. OpenAI just launched ChatGPT Atlas. Okay, this is the news that actually was recently published. And yeah, so you can do all sort of things. You see that we have not much context. That's when we could use the content research agent in order to help with that, right? To fill in the gaps. But I'm not gonna cover this here. The workflow right now consists of grabbing a video that's performing well by looking at the metrics and the views. Then we are extracting the transcript as is, maybe changing it a bit, changing the grammar, add your own personal words, nothing else. And then transforming that into a script, into a agent video. Right? At the transcript, you can change yourself, right? There's a lot of manual touch points. And yeah, that's pretty much the entire process. So all these are for later stages that I'm planning to add. And yeah, we are currently testing this with a few of our close clients, including the one that I show you today. So San has actually a newsletter business. So the shorts that he's gonna make on the Instagram channel are going to directly push traffic onto his newsletter business, right? So he's directly making revenue from all that attention. So if you're an online business that sells services or info products in the background and you want to grow and scale your personal brand in order to bring much more traffic into your offers, but you understand that creating content is hard and very time consuming, then this system might come in really handy for you. And so if you want me and my team to implement this system for your business so that you can run AI avatar videos on autopilot, then lucky for you, I have opened a few spots for businesses outside of my close circle of clients. Spots are very limited. We're only going to do it for a few businesses that qualify. So make sure to go in the description. I'll leave a link where you can book a strategy call with me and see if you qualify as well. You can go that route or you can just do it for yourself. I'll also leave these templates for you to grab. I'll leave that in the link in the description. So yeah, whatever you want, it's going to be available. So yeah. This is currently grabbing a decent amount of views for my client San, and we're looking for the channel to grow pretty steadily and bring much more revenue to his newsletter business. So yeah, looking forward to discuss the results in another video and whatnot. So yes, so I'll keep you updated. But anyways, everything's going to be in the description. Let me know in the comments if you want some other type of video similar to this. Maybe you want to cover more about distribution in a bit more depth, maybe content systems apart from avatars. Maybe you want repurposing systems, stuff like that. I'm working on other stuff. So whatever you want to see, just let me know in the comments, okay? More than happy to share with you. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Please give me a thumbs up and a follow if you enjoyed. If not, well, drop a comment to let me know why. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I had to say. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.